Hello, good evening. My name is Lev Freeman. For those of you who do not know me and probably here tonight, not because of me, but because of our wonderful performers. Welcome. We haven't done this in a while, and I'm glad that tonight we have an opportunity to be in this beautiful place. I'm sure you will see shortly for yourselves. And we have a fantastic program. I'm looking forward to hearing it and hearing about it. If you can hear me, I would appreciate if you typed a few words in our comment box just to make sure that you can hear us, and then we would be able to read your comments back as well. So tonight's program, I'll let our wonderful performers to introduce that themselves. But again, as you have questions throughout the evening, and we actually have some live audience tonight. But as you have some questions, feel free to pose them back, and we'll take breaks during the performance or at the end of it and be able to address them. So I will be talking until I see a first comment. Unfortunately, that's how we're going to play tonight. I think I see you. I see something coming through, and I see we have some people watching us already. So welcome. With this in mind, I will turn over to our performers. Janet Green says, "Thank you for producing this." Janet, you are most welcome. I'm just happy to have to know these wonderful performers. Over to you, Natalia and Stella.
Yay!
Hey, audience, you're here for a reason. Come on.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you so much for hosting us. Just now I realized it has been a year since I've played a live concert. Not recorded, but live concert. So I know Stella and I were both looking forward very much to performing today. About today's program, a couple of words. The music you will hear today is from the CD that I have recorded over the summer, and the name of the album is the Young Violinist album, and it consists of the selections from Russian violin teaching methods. The idea to record this album came to me after several failed attempts to find professional recordings of the pieces I was regularly assigning in my studio. A good recording can be a very powerful teaching tool as well as an inspiration, and I find these pieces to be exceptionally well written and of very high pedagogical value. Each piece targets a specific violin technique and depicts a character that is very picturesque and imaginative. The harmonic language is quite mature, yet not overly sophisticated for young ears. In 2020, I have received an Artist Initiative grant from the Minnesota State Arts Board, which made this project possible. So today, Stella and I will be happy to share this music with you. We will start with the famous Oxen Minuet by Joseph Haydn. The story behind its creation is very interesting. A butcher of an Austrian capital asked Haydn to write a piece for his daughter's wedding. A celebrated and good-natured composer agreed and produced the required composition. Butcher was so grateful that in order to show his appreciation for Haydn, he presented him with a very unusual gift. One day, Haydn heard his minuet being played outside. He looked out of the window and saw a group of musicians marching down the street towards his house, and behind them was the butcher leading a huge ox with golden horns and ribbons. Since then, this piece was transcribed for several different instruments, including violin, piano, saxophone, and clarinet. Shall we?
We shall.
music for this project, I tried to cover most major violin techniques. Somehow left-hand velocity ended up overrepresented. Maybe because there are so many wonderful pieces written targeting this specific technique. And the character depicting each piece is just so helpful, actually, in mastering this technique. For example, velocity requires lightness, and what can better instill that sensation rather than the image of a butterfly with its fragile wings? Or a monotonous motion of a spinning wheel can be used as a reference for achieving a steadiness and evenness of the left-hand flow, as well as a smooth string crossing. So we'll play next 4 pieces as a set. The first one is the Spinning Wheel by Alexei Yenshina. The second one, Whirlwind by Berio. Third, Butterflies by Venjamin Sher. And the last one is a Cuckoo by Louis-Claude Daquin, which originally is a harpsichord piece and was transcribed by Spanish violin virtuoso Juan Manen. I especially admire his choice for the cuckoo call. He uses artificial harmonics to make that sound, and if you ever heard a real bird, then you will agree that it sounds very authentic. Nice to have an audience.
I know. I don't think we've heard an applause
For a year.
for a year.
The next three pieces on the program are by Mikhail Glinka, who is regarded as the father of the Russian Russian National Composition School, and whose work is considered to be a foundation for later Russian music. Originally, these pieces were composed for piano, La Naivete and La Sentiment in 1838 and Mazurka in 1843. I'm very bad with numbers, I have to look. The vocal nature of Glinka's music makes his compositions perfect to teach cantilena. Now, if you don't know what cantilena is, you probably do, but just in case, we refer to cantilena anything. Cantilena means cantabile, singing in Italian, and anything that requires a long singing phrase, sustaining sound, can be referred to as cantilena. As a student in Moscow, I was advised constantly by my teachers to listen to very good vocalists, and in order to learn how to phrase independently from my bow specifications. If you're not violinists, I'll just briefly explain. The bow is heavier at the frog, where the frog is. The stick is thicker, and the frog adds some weight, more sound. It's lighter at the tip, so less weight, less sound. A very common phrasing mistake to make diminuendo down bow and to make crescendo up bow. In order to avoid that, one has to master the skill of maintaining the same volume through the bow changes and make those bow changes almost invisible. And this is something that is a constant battle for all of us, not just a student in a music school, but as professionals, we deal with that every day. Stella wanted to say something about...
Well, I always want to say something.
You wanted to say something about how you were supposed to listen to...
So, if you allow me to add to this conversation. So, Natalia and I went through kind of similar schooling. I did it for the not for the violin, for the piano. I wish it was the violin, but it was the piano. And we were always told to go listen to the violin players for the sound. The nature of my instrument is very different, because once we hit the key, we're pretty much done with the sound. We can't really do much afterwards. It doesn't matter how hard you push on the key, the sound doesn't get louder. So we have to be very careful about how we start the sound, but we're not as careful about how the sound continues. But there's tricks that we can do as pianists. So we were constantly told either to listen to really good violinists, of which Natalia is really awesome, and to singers as well, to be able to live through the note, even though it's like we frequently pretend what to do. But playing cantilena or bel canto, all of the instruments are trying to sound like voice so many times, and we're just hopefully succeeding in it sometimes. And I think these pieces are testament of how vocal instruments can be.
The cat loved it. An important part of violinist technique is mastering the bouncing strokes of any kind, whether it's spiccato, sautille, ricochet, or flying staccato, which will be different, apparently, from the regular staccato, so the bow should not be stopped on the string, but bounce off. Natalya Baklanova's Etude Staccato is the perfect example of that stroke. The trick is to let the bow bounce, let the bow bounce using the natural springing qualities of the stick and only direct it for speed and dynamic adjustments. It's easily said than done, but still. The most common genre for mastering spiccato is perpetual motion. There are at least 12 perpetual motions, probably more, written for violin, starting with the easy ones for kids and ending with the top few, including Perpetual Motion by Rys Novacek and Paganini. The one you will hear today is the easy one from Natalya Baklanova's 8 Easy Pieces for Violin and Piano. And it is as charming as it is laconic and violinistic. Then in the set will be Etude Staccato, and the last piece in the set, we'll play them as a set again, would be Hail by Glazunov from his ballet The Seasons. Originally an orchestral piece. I think it benefits tremendously from this particular arrangement. I personally, when I play it, I can almost see the hail bouncing off of the pavement when it pours down from the sky. I hope you enjoy it.
this sound is intoxicating.
Yes. Yes, they're very cute. We have another cantilena insert on the program. It's QE, Oriental from his Kaleidoscope, Opus 54, and Rakov Promenade. I found that Russian composers, and I'm not the only one who thinks that, write the best Oriental music. Maybe it has to do with the proximity of the regions. I don't know. The Rimsky-Korsakov Scheherazade is the perfect example. This little miniature is another proof. It opens up with a tambourine-like rhythm in violin, and then with the beautiful melody, first in the piano and then in the violin, with authentic augmented seconds. Nikolai Rakov was my favorite composer as a child, when I was a child. He was very prolific in his writing for violin, 2 concertos, a concertino, 2 sonatas, 2 sonatinas, and the smaller pieces for violin. His language is very unique, although very Russian. I think what defines Russian music is a very horizontal writing, a dedication to the melody, long singing phrases, and I think it may be coming from the language. We have a lot of vowels in our alphabet, rather than, for example, vertical thinking, harmonic writing of Western composers, some of Western composers. So we hope you enjoy this. For the final stretch, of today's program, we have more virtuosic music. I'll talk more about each Allegro by Baklanova from 8 easy pieces for violin and piano. It's brisk and exciting, and it targets a stroke that I think is slightly overshadowed by more flashy techniques in the violin playing, which is called détaché. It's very simple, it's just detached bows. But it's also a challenging stroke to play in the fast tempo and to keep the coordination between bow arm and the left hand. So it's also something that we keep working on through our entire professional life. The second piece is Tarantella by Gustav Ellerton. It's the 4th piece from his Opus 15, and it is also very, very exciting, and kids love playing that. It's written in a traditional genre. Do you want to talk more about this?
Tarantella?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I imagine that a lot of some of our audiences are musicians, but some of them are not. Tarantella is a very fast-paced dance. It's got very specific rhythms. Many composers written such pieces for piano and for a whole bunch of other instruments. And Tarantella is based on an Italian dance, and the legend says that people dance Tarantella if they're bitten by a tarantula. And in order not to die and to work out your sweat, the poison is supposed to come out with your sweat, so you dance until you sweat so much that the poison come out and you stay alive. So if you try to dance to this, you can see whether you break the sweat. We certainly do. So I think you'll enjoy this.
Don't go far. Next piece would be Konstantin Mostras, Concert Etude. A couple of words about the composer. It's a very significant figure in Russian violin world, a teacher, composer, a violinist, teacher and composer, and also publisher of many articles on violin teaching methods. He helped shape the Soviet violin school. His edition of 6 sonatas and partitas by Bach is still the main one that's used in Russia and in Europe. The concert etude genre comes from Ferenc Liszt, I believe. Do you want to talk more about this genre?
concert etude?
Concert etude.
I'll be glad to.
So I think any instrumentalist needs to have a technical vocabulary to be able to play things. But, you know, it's kind of boring to practice just scales and arpeggios. As the studies developed into etudes where, you know, scales and arpeggios were kind of formed into a piece, then with the Romantic composers in the 19th century, there was a need for more. So people like Paganini and people like for the violin, and people like Franz Liszt, who was the consummate technician on the piano and also really, really popular musician. He basically popularized an idea of the concert etude, or a technical exercise that was dressed in such interesting imagery that it was totally standing on its own as a piece. And Liszt actually has been known to, you know, woo the audience, and the ladies especially in the audience, by playing these unbelievably flashy pieces. So that's where it's from.
And then the last piece on the program would be Mazurka by Henryk Wieniawski, The Village Fiddler. It sounds exactly like the name depicts it. It opens up with the imitation of a violinist tuning the violin, plucking the open strings, and then bowing them. And then the music plunges into the country-like dance with two brief lyrical episodes interrupting a cascade of double stops and chords. We hope you like it.
definitely are safe from poison. I have fewer notes to play here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Would you do another cuckoo?
Why?
The cuckoo. We had some sound issues early.
Okay.
Could we do another
Yes, we can do another.
version of that?
Sure. Yeah.
На бис.
Sure. Well, we haven't.
У нас есть на бис.
Oh, здесь на бис. Ah, okay.
Ну кукушку тоже
Well, the
сможем.
commentary is such an incredible evening. Thanks for sharing the stories and your talent from Patricia Rosilio. If somebody by the name Ivan Konyev says, "Great job, you two."
That's.
Somebody by the name Mila Freiman, who's my mom, says, "Thank you very much for a wonderful evening." Amazing, says Andrei. Dieter Becker says, "Bravo." Thank you for the music. It's fantastic. So you guys,
That's
just,
great.
very classy playing, says Janet Green.
Wow.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Janet.
And there are lots more comments that you will, I'm sure, be able to see directly on your Facebook pages. I just cannot see them all.
Are there any questions?
Not that I see. Do you have questions?
We can play cuckoo and people can think of questions and then we can answer them.
Sounds good. Please do.
After all this thing, can I just check the tune?
Yeah.
So was this previous piece had some Irish like tones to it?
Probably, yeah.
Like St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, you. Oh, that's the village fiddler.
Oh, yeah,
fiddling,
definitely,
fiddling.
The fiddling, yes, for sure.
Well, as it happens, people are just so mesmerized by your playing that they don't have any questions. It
They're
appears.
stupefied.
Also, it appears.
That's okay.
Okay, yes. Ah, the question is, when is the next concert? That's a great question.
Next year? I mean, like this one.
Like this one, we should do it like when we can actually get people together, at least.
Yes, that would be.
That'll be a repeat of this, but we'll like more than
We can
Brian and I, and Alex doing this.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful program.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Even though it's just more picturesque. It's very imaginative, and kids love playing that. And it's widely, unfortunately, unknown here in the States. I mean, unless you have a Russian teacher somewhere in your professional pedigree, you haven't heard that.
No, and also the items you find out about playing is just professional playing. I mean, because the typical, like me, I have no idea all the
I'm very glad it was interesting.
all the subtleties that go into the sound extraction and the technique. It's fascinating. Thank you.
Sure. So I guess we would like to end, of course, I will not be myself if I end on a flashy note. I'd like to end with the composer that's from my hometown, Ariel. It's the Chanson Triste by Vasily Kalinikov. He passed away sadly very early. I think he was 37 from cholera. And his music is very beautiful. I admire playing it. And we hope you enjoy it.
Take a bow.
Come here.
Camera. Oh,
Bravo.
That was fun, thank you.
that was speechless. Really.
Well, it was fantastic. My apologies for some early sound issues. I'm sure we'll get it even better next time. But you were beautiful. The music was fantastic. Something that we've all been missing. And I hope to see it again soon. Thank you all for watching. You'll be able to see the replays later on. Have a good night.